Newsroom, hello, Johannesburg, yeah. I'm Eben Jansen, this is live from our studios here. Don't forget, we're live on YouTube with the entire show available on demand channel. Much maligned ANC conference will get ran today. We ask you, what should of the ANC be in African politics forward at Newsroom? That's where your contribution. We look back at the formation debate in university that's been taking place this week. National starts around the next week. The PE to bike race starts today. Lee's on the trial and she'll get at the 11th. Soweto Food Festival ends this weekend, and we chat to Desmond John, South African, that's causing quite a in the US. But first, today's news.
Good morning, Dormal. Take a look at the stories lines today. The ANC's national is expected this morning without hiccups. Pretoria High Court with cost and stick to National Congress from the case. The matter brought to the court by accused the legal team of concerns. ANC's national coordinator Tetwa has that disciplinary will be taken against members.
These people us here as to court have the wrath of the organization, and they are going to that.
While the disgruntled members from the North will appeal the court to have the go ahead. President Jacob has accepted an invitation to visit Sudan. This afternoon, Sudanese President al-Bashir will visit to China. They returned the dust to settle on al-Bashir's independence at the age. In the west of Johannesburg, a report by the team regarding of the troubled primary school handed to House David Makura, Education ABC, the Sufi. Of learners have not classes since the closed last month. The school has been allegations of crime and racist to violence. A man faced hundreds of charges linked to the alleged molestation and 19 young will be in court. The 14-year-old is expected in the Sasolburg court in the Free. He was arrested in October. People tracked him down to the house in Fall Park, from where he was manufacturing and distributing child pornography. Two of his alleged victims are his own daughters. Field foreign minister from the EU will discuss the escalating refugee crisis. To be no end in tense standoff between Nigerian police and thousands of refugees. Authorities blocked the station on Monday, forbidding refugees valid visas. And in Cameroon, suicide bombing led to the death of 15 people and more than 100 reports suggest active place in North Cameroon, where soldiers battling Boko Haram from Nigeria. Remember, you can find stories on our Newsroom page. Just search for Newsroom. Of course, follow us on Twitter, SABC Newsroom. Over to you.
Now, the ANC conference is get underway. We'll go to our continuing editor, William, as soon as they are. Update from Midrand. We'll carry on the transformation and specifically the of transformation. Africa's institution once again became a hot topic debate week. This after management of University is invited to brief on allegation of racism against it following online circulation video titled "Easter" sparked major concern. The university has extended an invitation to Stellenbosch movement to release the video to engage discussions on Now, ANC in the Western, the opinion, rate of transformation, especially Stellenbosch, is too. It says actions of racism, discrimination, inequality among continuously at institution. To tell us come from discussions in, we joined a portfolio on higher education and training, Mr. Dan Kakana. Very good morning, Mr. Kakana. Very much for joining us.
Good morning.
Starting with the discussion this week, what's the portfolio committee's on the situation now at Stellenbosch, and what will about the situation?
Yes, the portfolio very strong opinion that South Africa, Stellenbosch, all our academic institutions continue like they were apartheid. Stellenbosch is an African university. Things have changed. We have changes of unemployment. We must have people our so that jobs are available for them. That all our institutions assist in skill educating that can have resource development. So, strong opinion that must change global apartheid is the new democracy and reflect the graphics of society in which it operates.
I'll ask you about universities in South Africa. Stellenbosch has come under the and elsewhere. Are you happy with the transformation of the university in Africa?
Really, particular the African universities, Potchefstroom, Fontaine, Free State University, Orange Free State. If you look at staff academics, we do that with new generation academics because all generation of academics being all retiring, but we don't the necessary where academics include black and the body itself like the democracy of our society. So the transformation is not satisfactory.
The latest brought out a very emotional aspect to this how change the attitudes and how emotion and deal with those at universities.
What was in the meeting with Stellenbosch University management was management meet at all those institutions, and the Vice Chancellor, Professor Villiers, also admitted with management all those occasions. And to be committed, appeared to be committed toward bringing necessary change. Because, for example, the issue of discrimination against students, sexual violence against ladies, the language issue that English must be equally at that they will definitely look at do something about it, going to monitor closely what
we've seen the local SRC election in the country. We've seen a lot of and the sizing of campuses in the country. Do you fear, as we run elections next year, our campuses can become a battleground for opportune political parties?
In a had the past be, but with all managers to control, and I think take the necessary to control it. It is something that is not instable. I think we can manage.
What would be a relationship our institutions, politics, good citizenry?
Look, South Africa is an open society. It's about any party, political parties to participate and take university with student. But it is we really condemn violence. What will show desperation, but violent, that is undemocratic, that is unconstitutional, and therefore it has to take measures. But we participation, we are a multi-party team. We encourage that, but it must be within the work of our institution.
Kikana, thank you for today. That is the portfolio on education and training. Danny Kikana, he led the discussion in Parliament week with regards to education at Stellenbosch and transport in general and universities and institutions around Africa. Now, National Youth League 25th National gets underway and will Sunday at State in Midrand. President Cyril will open proceedings this morning. The event attended by about 3 delegates received go ahead last night. An urgent application by West Youth League to interdict the meeting dismissed by the Northern High Court. The Youth League leadership structures ended in 2016 and replaced the National Task Team and provincial teams. Congress was meant last December, but at the last minute converted into a consultative Congress. For the League's president has been marred by claims of irregular processes and allegations of interference from tops within the ruling party and the failed interdict. Now, contributing editor Vuyo Mvo joins us live from Ghana State. He is easy court with this morning. Thank you, Vuyo.
Good morning, Evan.
Vuyo, just still to where I understand you do an interview. Set the scene for us with regard to yesterday and to today.
It has become after the business and the of the few days, the one you are talking about specifically, that urgent court, of course, Mavundla, that the was not urgent at all. Important underline the point that he took at its of case at how, as you may know, also had to have PGs as the other provinces were pretty much order and ready to actually come here, attend or of conference, but to explain some of the, also to take us some of the things of the leadership of the African National is a national executive who is also the person of the governing party, and that is welcome and thank you for joining us. Well, let's talk about very briefly. Was the message not left too late? Is what happened not something avoided?
Well, first, encourage members of the organization. There is any in processes of the organization, but they should consider that the first option outside of the structure of the organization. In our view, there is a mechanism intended to deal with the organization, to have grievances, disputes, and so on. There is also at a level you can take level, including the because the youth league is the ANC. Encourage them because immediately you take us, we now have ourselves like, and the ruling of the court was among other information. Internal processes of were not exhausted, but also you have an organization court to stop organization that was already under part one of the conference already began in terms of the conference registration. So when the court said the conference was already almost, it went smoothly. All provinces that all expected to be here have been registered. So for us, if there still be issues, even at the press conference, open to different issues internal, we don't encourage side of the structure.
Well, members of the team, agency that is responsible for together this concern from what Alula has said, only from what Tetra has said, the people who went yesterday to face and the might the African national. But the question is whether you're prepared to even give them the benefit of, in other words, and perhaps too anxious, and because they had been, some delegates had been excluded, felt perhaps the court was about the only thing could resort to. I to even give.
We don't think they've all the internal mechanism. For an example, you feel that you grieved, that your unhappiness within the youth league, including what you with the ANC at national level, whoever grievance from even for those court, we haven't. We think that it was but we think that determined reasons because people court they don't do mandate of the structure organization mandate it to go to court. Do so for their unpolitical desires. Don't know why they do. But the organization has got internal processes. People who do so the organization in dispute. And at court case, if of the organization in dispute, the mechanism in the organization is that because it's an offense, that's why we teach people whatever they have, it ended internal in the.
Take us through what's going to happen
of the program today. One went very well yesterday about official the deputy president Comrade Cyril and then give on behalf of the executive to open this conference, followed by reports from the entity, official reports, and later it will of credentials, national report of the ANC. Of the ANC, our view when this conference is on site, we must have a different, given that historically we have this kind of a challenge to youth league, and we must, as members of, but we are encouraged by the enthusiasm among the members themselves that what we have a successful because they appreciate the space that is since the disbandment. They want to reclaim the youth league within society, also within the body political league when the conference rises. That is strong like a roof from the tree. And I think that as we do, as members of the youth themselves participate freely, practically, enter this conference, they must appreciate entered the AA conference. There are certain rules, guidelines that must behavior of the daily conference.
Very clearly, there have been allegations, of powerful people leading the ANC, done or everything in their power to influence the thinking and the of this conference. Must be. Has the ANC even looked at the matter at all?
Those allegations, and I think without giving evidence, it is possible for any leader or for any ANC, the outcome, the league of the ANC, is delegated to the league of the ANC, women's league, whether it's who must participate freely in terms of their outcome. Allegations, although to put them under the carpet, I don't think they've got any on the outcome of the conference.
Well, this is Godwa of the Executive Committee of the African Congress is also now spokesperson for taking us what is happened here, but also speaking to the been in the, certainly over the last couple of days. I'm going to hand to you, Eben, will be here throughout the day, updating our view about the going on here. Right, back to you.
Thank you very much. Yes, it's a very interesting weekend ahead. Of course, the President Jacobs will be back from China. He'll also be in the conference later this weekend. Now, way today and see Youth National is due to shortly at that in Midrand, and the expects an incident free Congress after Judge Muller yesterday ruled the application of the group lodged in Pretoria was urgent at all. To represent the branches, some of the views are on media of themselves and others. He said he not had a good night's sleep last week because ANC Youth Congress. Poloko so starts today. The young lion ANC Youth. Shinamo Elliott, there is in the youth. I don't think the Congress will make differences. It will make things worse. He says Youth League, the national proceed its plan to fruitful engagement and adopting King residents. With Youth League, emerge at the end of this conference. Of course, our question of there it is. What should the role of the Youth League be forward in African parliament? We move on. Let's do Newsroom. A picture of this one comes from the Hilson and mentioned she's holding line on a train at station course in 3. Yes, G crisis continues to escalate in Europe. Now, at the front from around the globe, New York, the national New York struggle among European leaders to a coherent response to the spiraling migrant, they call it, on Thursday. Fresh calls for a plan were met with recommendations about the continent being swamped. Muslims call. Meanwhile, in Europe, reports that Britain will take in more people in Syria's civil war. David Cameron to a wave triggered by images of a 3-year-old drowned Turkish beach. Very emotive yesterday. Just Australia, Daily looks like we've lost the graph. Reports that some of its notorious tourists. There you have it. Soon have the citizens vote and be back to where they come from. Australian friends always quick to deport. Let's take a look down. Yeah, we start in Johannesburg with a trial of minibus taxi driver Matome Tamar, who is accused of knocking a woman and dragging her behind beneath his taxi. Expected to continue. Berg Magistrates 2011 left advocate Kim badly injured. Then a man found hundreds of charges to the alleged molestation of 19 young girls is expected to appear at Hasselberg Magistrates. Interpol man down to foul where he was manufacturing and distributing pornography. To take a break, Newsroom right here on SABC.
best needs. Than 10 years at CEDA, being non-financial too, and SMS as well as helping to create jobs. CEDA, the advancing enterprise development.
Welcome back. How to get more South Africans, how to get books into children's hands. The country's book council will aim to these two key objectives during National Week. Now in The national is recognized as the longest running successful reading campaigns here. Starting on Monday, hashtag going and hashtag book will be used on social media sites to reflect the physical of National Book Week throughout South Africa and to encourage the culture of reading. Now, two who are involved in all of this, a national librarian, Rocky Bisimela, from our studio in Pretoria, and then here in Elitha van der Steen, who's the CEO of South Africa's Book Council. Very good morning, sir. Thanks for joining. Professor BP Simela, quickly ask you with you. I know that we have the National Library. Do you think South Africans know that, and we get South Africa to interact with you a little bit better?
Well, we do National Library in South Africa, and like other countries, there is a national library in a country whose responsibility it is to ensure that everything published about that country by South Africans or about is home at home in a library. It's made available to South African people and to the world. So you have a librarian whose responsibility is to ensure that the heritage country, the culture country, identity of the country is actually preserved, and it is collected and made available to everyone through the National Library. That is what I...
That's fantastic. I also see that you're appointed as the African Library Information Associations and Institute section on national. What does that mean?
That is very correct. It means that National Library of Africa is there to a committee of national librarians of their continent. So we need leadership of how the library will act the country to make sure that the materials are there, people are reading. The biggest message: read.
Back to that message, but I just want to ask who's here with me here in Johannesburg about the launch. Book Week National was launched in yesterday, and what's your expectation for this year?
Indeed, we launched Book Week last day. Unveil another element of Book Week, which is a book, and unveil the bus going places of National Book. And both elements are about getting there and getting to people's homes.
Now, the of hashtag going places, hashtag buy, tell us about it, and what kind of are you hoping to achieve?
We gave birth to places last, going places last. Historically, books have been part of many people's lives in South Africa. So with going places, taking books to through the bus that is traveling through the country. Also the fact you don't need to go anywhere with the book can places. And then hashtag buy a book is about more than half of South African households having no books in their home, not reading books. We're not speaking
single book,
not a leisure reading book. So there's no book, pleasure for enjoying escapism.
And we should to South Africa that it a new magazine book.
It's a magazine.
Thank you. So Rola PBC, quickly views on culture of reading in South Africa, and why do we have few books in our home, do you think?
Well, I so many different reasons why we have very few books in the homes. What that means is that we basically not a reading nation. We are not reading. Part of our culture. However, we are part of the international global community. And if we read, it means we cannot lead. We cannot know. It is through the ability to read, to connect, engage, that we can be a lot more better at an individual level, at an active level, at a global level. Well, historical research we're not reading. The libraries in this country since 1818. How the majority of South Africans are part of that culture. And now when we try to reflect the heritage and the history and South Africans published book, it's very interesting to realize the majority of our students in our library are foreigners. They do really show their indigenous South African, for instance. But to look in that, the non-indigenous South African cannot, that we started. We ourselves, we do not have materials written that we have used, and trying to really, through interventions as National Book Week, to indicate that culture and writing.
Thank you. Book Week making a big dent. I love the campaigns. I thank you for joining us today, National Library Professor Rocky Zimela from Pretoria. Thank you for joining us. Just up with you. Tell us about partnerships, correctional services involved with you, and outlook that you have in partnerships.
I think it's important to note that there are things around the book. The National Book Week gives everyone an opportunity together to actually make an impact along. The first partnership, the Department of Arts and Culture, was an important partner. The Department of Education also supports schools. Education is important. Correctional service, I believe that has a key role to play rehabilitating inmates and offenders. So they'll be visiting on the 5th of September. Then the public booksellers, we can go to what we've arranged. You can go into an books or organ books and buy 20 Rand to someone who doesn't book. And then the McDonald's, and we are with them looking corners at the restaurants.
That's fantastic. Our people spend much time at McDonald's as it is. Just quickly tell where we get more information. Real quick, it starts today, and the age of social media, people quickly interact.
Okay. But in September, Book Week, you can on Facebook, Book Week SA, and also www.sa.co.za. And we look forward to buy a book.
But you won't see me at McDonald's, I'll tell you that. Be reading at McDonald's. Or come to the library, right? I get a sense that, if we have been peace also in South Africa. So we should go away from eat at McDonald's burger. That's the big day. Thank you. Lisa van der Sant is CEO of South African Development Council. A little bit of fun, but it's serious. Next week, the National Book Week, we should interact a little bit better with National Book Week. And if you were a principal or a teacher, encourage and also to in this one initiative. We now to our tweet. It comes from I do. It is the next generation that has exercise DNA of racism and to prize those in to act actively. Hashtag Leicester has called all the constant in the week or so in South Africa, and I'll continue my work. This chair out of the way. Thank you very much for joining us here today. See this day of the Plat mountain bike riders from the Gamtoos west of Port and head towards Berg Bay. That started nicknamed one. The race divided into 4 stages over 200 kilometers, will end in Plettenberg. Today's leg, 100 kilometers, is the longest one of the 4. Janine Lee with the mountain bikers. It looks rather dry for a change, but it's nice and Gauteng.
Oh, thank you. I think we've passed it on to you. Not sorry to see the back of the rain, and it was absolutely awful yesterday. They are basically bleeding all the mud. They missed because they couldn't. We were going. Hello, the sun is, and I'm happy. I think they're happy.
My eyes are a tough bunch. Myself, you never cry. Take your medicine, as it were. But how many races are taking part in the format of this? It's not called the for nothing, eh?
No, it's not called the nothing. You absolutely. I'm going to ask Norm camera now to quickly get you some of the guys coming. Yeah, top runners have come in, and you're going to see runners come right into shot, coming up to points. There are 200 riders in the event. In the event, there are 100 teams, but you can solo. But if you ride a partner, what will happen is you have to finish each stage within minutes of each other. Otherwise, you're looking at a rider here. I mean, this is brave. Doing it on your own, pull you through the rough. So, yeah, let's hand over Claude. Yeah, he said it's painful. That gives you an idea how tough it is. And today's a tough urban, 100 kilometers, and you must understand, the Platinum Route area has 170 millimeters in the last days. So while the sun be shining, underneath is very these guys. The hills, they haven't even to cycle. They up so much, you push it up. So yeah, it's been. There we go. There go. It's Skuman and Yolandi de Toy women's team. They came first yesterday, and keeping that top. We'll be keeping an eye on them as well, Evan.
Leading the men's race. Just mention the leaders leading the men's race.
Sorry, let me correct that. Yes, Tigo, that Adrian, Matt Beers, they had a sprint finish today, and they also got today. Bentley was coming second in the race yesterday. That 20 kilometers ago, they took, but sprint finish for the very strong field. They were happy with that Contigo yesterday, and they will be looking to take that on again today. Over 100 kilometers, it's going to be really, really tough for them.
Janine, great job. I'm sure you gave us a little package on us to see how it went over the weekend. Thanks for that update. Janine Lee is in the mix giving us the most beautiful in South Africa to Plet. That is, of course, management. Rustenburg Agricultural Institute outside of and protesters they have agreed a process of multilingual racial institution. The parties have reached an agreement to end 3 days of protest over the nation's language. Western Cape Culture Department Petru says they are address language information issues. Rustenburg. Look at what you've been saying about, as I say, it's very emotional. Institutions of learning says, I asked, why did God black Leicester? The natural mystic revolution has Leicester for once again students who will lead us the second democracy, says the mystic. Says instead of with the Leicester, some stylish patronizing them by asking them, is the love? Yeah, for sides have a curate says, ask his mum. I think the Leicester thing, if expressing disappointment at status is negative, no. That is the sentence. Keep your views now. SABC News, interact with us. Refugee and migrant continues the definition of these terms blurred, and the focus to what they do for the amount of people safer home frustrations for those displaced in Hungary.
Family with more money to eat, drink water at least, to drink milk at least. We have to describe our situation. No more words. Tell me, what is the definition of refugee? What is a refugee is underground, be sitting and this is the message.
Time to take a look at what's Newsroom's Facebook page. President Jacob says there's a need for increased investment in economies to reduce heavy reliance on export of raw resources. Giant. Then, I see the village in Cameroon yesterday. The village was attacked. Boko Haram Islam since in February. Guatemala's has resigned and was jailed yesterday while a judge considered charges against him in a scandal that the government plunged into political. Let's go to our Facebook to take a look. You're watching on SABC News.
Unemployment this quarter has spiked to 26.4%, after falling to 84.3% fourth quarter of the year. More than 1 million South Africans are currently unemployed.
The industry has ended production dramatically, trying to for last.
WU has rejected the current offer, vowed to intensify the strike until demands are met. Meanwhile, MTN others have expressed frustrations. Closure, of course.
Business News, your favorite channel, SABC News, on Monday to
the 11th annual Wine and Lifestyle Festival started yesterday and, well, end Monday this week. It showcased boutique wine and high-end fashion and art and tourism. There's a move in the venue after 10 years of the historical Wall Square location in the heart of Soweto. Limited capacity showcase its finest wine, trendsetters from the festival formed the shape wine industry over a decade with tiered opportunities to the audience. They want to their finest to now to talk today to talk to Marilyn Cooper, who is a Cape wine and co-founder of the Soweto Festival. Good morning.
Good morning.
11 years on. Expect this year.
You know, there's a lot of. We started exclusively with wine. And now we've called it a life festival. So we did a lot of opportunities and news from Soweto. So the jewelry is one. All beautiful people are making bespoke in Soweto and people appreciate them. So we've got our wineries, but we have all these wonderful areas.
Tell me the move to the venue this year. How do you see that going?
First, although it's raining indoors, so people worry about that. You know, it's historical. It's this year since. So, and people haven't actually that tower constitution. So we like that and promote. And also, Kliptown is in the Soweto. One of the reasons we've.
Now, years on, the high and low lights that counted, and today.
Started where I went. I had face. I said, "Please, festival. I don't have to do more." So it's grown from 1,000 people, 1,000 people, and a wonderful experience meeting someone who's been for 5 years. And when I see someone like that, see how tastes have changed. When people start drink bubbly and sweet, and a lot of people assume that Soweto drink bubbly and sweet. So 10 years later, we have a wonderful audience who appreciate fun and have sellers of their own.
No, that's incredible. The hours Soweto also be showcased this.
Absolutely. God is really that you do in print and that kind of thing is digital. We want to encourage got a 72 Soweto. So don't go to the festival today, a bike ride, do all things that you can do.
Well, Marilyn, it's a fantastic idea, and all the best with this. The weather stays good with rains coming here, and that can be a nightmare. Thanks for joining us.
My
Morning.
pleasure.
Now, still 60. He told me last week. And John is a singer, rapper, and musician. So he was born in Frankfurt, Germany. He grew up in Johannesburg, now calls Cape home. This, of course, when he is not traveling to the United States. He's been recording with industry legends and award-winning producer in the USA. It's clear to say that this young man is going straight. He joins us now in our Cape Town. Good morning, Desmond. How are you?
Good morning. Hey, thank you very much for the show.
You performed last week that I was going to bring you to come know you a little bit better. You're a young, you're making way in the music. Tell us about the success, but also how did your interest in rap and music especially start?
Well, the first rap song actually was by Outkast, and I guess I just fell in love with it. I've always been a big music, very big Michael fan. From a young age, I've always been around with vocals, been messing around with it. And I'm passion that's just kept building, and in the position that I'm in, it's humbling to be in. So yeah, it's so far.
Tell me about what you've been doing in the USA. Of course, you've been mentioned by Dirty South players in the States. There is there. What are you thinking about a white boy from Africa?
Wow. I mean, their reception so far is very positive, which is overwhelming to me. I mean, I've been mentored by guys, and they're just all extremely talented, and to really get their feedback, and for that feedback has just been incredible. I'm very humbled.
I see you were born in Frankfurt, Germany. Sprichst du dann oder nicht?
Natürlich, natürlich, Deutsch ist fließend.
This is Südafrikaanisch. It's fantastic.
Yeah, of course.
So could you go through the challenges? You know, at 16, you have challenges in life. What are the challenges that have been?
I guess, you know, I mean, my challenge from home in a foreign country without my family and friends. I mean, it's definitely, but passion about music and just working really just makes me forget that. So,
Desmond.
So far.
Desmond John, interesting. How the name been received, Desmond John, and about All of Us, the single that you wrote?
Well, has been received very positively. I'm actually named after my brothers. The one Desmond was a singer, English teacher, and he was so that's how the name came together. The song for us was actually the first when I got to this, produced by a guy, Fan Bros, being so far great, and I actually, you know, very special, very close to my heart. That's what the song is about.
And finally, Des, let you go, my friend, your advice to South Africans who are looking at you and thinking, guys, going right, how do we do that there?
Believe in your dream. Really, you know, dream, create, achieve, main thing, focus and work hard. It's talent. So that's my everybody out there. Look, be in the music, make it.
Well, you're doing. There's no doubt that you waves all around the world. John is. Remember that name. John is going to be in the music. Thank you for joining us, Desmond John, a young singer, musician, a young man making it happen. Guys, I'm out with this video. Let me just wrap the Newsroom broadcast live. Here in Auckland Park every week, 9 and 10 a.m. live on YouTube at for the whole show. As always, on our YouTube, SABC News, watching Newsroom in the morning. Let's Desmond John, All of Us.
You, suffer with breathing. We had deeper meaning. I know it's love, be lust, touch. I know at the school. You mind trying to which knew my sight. We had a spark that night. Wrong, you be right. So much to make it that I put out for me. To make it so the work that in it's not so I'm trying to love you, girl. God makes it work. Now that I'm hurt.